Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Brad of Despite Fitness, and I want to do kind of a real quick, simple, basic video. So viewers, be warned, this is a very simple, very basic kind of exercise explanation. So if you're a little bit more advanced, then this may not be the video for you, but we're going to talk about upper body strength and how to slowly kind of increase upper body strength. The intended audience for this is anyone who is having some issues with general upper body strength. Perhaps someone who maybe can't do a single push-up currently. So this might be maybe somebody who's more sedentary and wants to get more fit. Or this also may be someone like my own parents who maybe are a little bit more elderly and want to try to incorporate a little bit of strength training for some longevity, for that benefit of a little bit more muscular strength, as well as maybe some additional bone density from that resistance training. Okay, so you've been warned. This is what we're going to talk about, some upper body strength. Now, we're assuming that maybe you don't do anything currently or very, very little in terms of upper body strength and development, right? One of the things you can do to start to develop some upper body strength is begin to work on some pushing, right? So we're just going to focus predominantly on push-ups for this because it's a pretty good upper body exercise and you don't really need a lot of equipment, all right? So if you do nothing at all, what you might be able to do is you can find a wall, and we're just going to pretend that this space here is an actual wall. I'm going to put my hands here on the pillars, but I don't necessarily recommend that you have your hands that wide. Although to change the muscular angle and range of motion, you can go from more narrow to a little bit wider. But just in a standing position, just pushing like this, right? So if you do nothing at all, doing a little bit of that on a day-to-day basis, something small, even just a few reps at a time, a couple of reps before you leave the house. Maybe every time you walk out your bedroom door, you decide you're gonna do 5 reps. And just doing that over time will get you a little bit stronger, especially if you're coming from no training basis whatsoever. All right, so then as you increase your strength and get a little bit more developed, one of the things you can do is, like I said, you change that range of motion and hand position. You might go to more of a narrow position, which is a little bit harder on the triceps. So that can be a way that you can increase the difficulty without making a huge major change for what it is that you're doing. Now let's say you master the varying widths of hand position and you want to make it even harder. The way that you do that is that you go onto a surface where you're more horizontal. So the more vertical you are, the easier it's going to be. The more you go horizontal, the more difficult it's going to be. So it could be grabbing any surface. It could be a bench, a chair, a table, whatever. You grab a surface and same thing. Working on that pushing. Again, we're working up slowly, building up slowly, a few reps at a time. And then you just kind of continue to develop that. As it gets easier and easier, you can continue to add more reps and more sets. So if you could start out with like a couple of just 5s as you walk out your bedroom door, or you walk out the house before you leave the house today. You get the table, you just do 5 of those. Slowly but surely, you can kind of continue to increase that until the point where you can actually get to the ground and do a full push-up, right? So again, down to the ground, full push-up. If you want to start out with that push-up position, make it harder, or make it kind of easy, but you're in that that total horizontal position. Just do it on your knees. Keep your knees in contact with the ground, and then do the push-up on your knees. That's not as hard as going into the full plank position. So once you're on your knees and you can do push-ups like that in that horizontal position, that's good. That's a step in the right direction. If you want to make it even harder, go into that full plank where you have your knees off the ground and you're supporting your full weight. And do push-ups like that. So that's kind of a progression of difficulty. If you're not quite there, but you want to continue to progress and add some resistance into these movements, you can get something very simple like a band. And this is a very, very thin band, but you can play with these bands with multiple widths, multiple band tensions to accommodate for how strong you are. But my recommendation is you take the band just like so, over your back, right? So part of it's gonna kind of rest on your neck, and then the part of it's gonna rest on the lower back like this. And you use this as additional resistance for that pushing. So again, if I use this wide hand position like this, I do my push-ups, that band is giving me additional resistance. And then of course you can increase the band tension, and then you can also begin to decrease your vertical position to get more horizontal and make it harder and harder and harder. So that's a couple of different ways that if you are a very basic beginner to training and you're looking to increase your upper body strength just a little bit with minimal equipment and little effort on your part, these are very simple things that you can do and start implementing into your day-to-day life that can increase your strength. You can play little games with yourself, like before you have your meal, you execute, however many push-ups or however many, whatever. So you can play little games with yourself where you can make that a facet of your day-to-day life, and it doesn't have to be super intrusive, and it doesn't have to be a super prolonged event that's kind of hard to sustain. It's just something that you can do little by little and just slowly either increase your reps and sets or increase your intensity by adding things like a band or going more to that horizontal position. All right, so that's all I have for you. Just a real simple tip and trick for anyone that's a little bit more basic on their training level and wants to get a little bit more in shape or a little bit stronger for that upper body. Just one quick recommendation for you guys here with what I've explained so far. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please drop in the chat box below. I will respond. I appreciate your continued support for making the channel what it is and giving me the opportunity to try to help as many people as I can, and it means the world to me. So if you happen to know other folks who may enjoy this content, if you have parents or someone in your life that you know could benefit from just a little bit of extra strength training, please share these videos with them, and it would mean a lot to me. I appreciate that. Remember guys, no matter what it is you think you can't do, like starting small and building up your strength base, no matter how untrained or unexperienced or lack of equipment you may have, it's never gonna happen if you don't get into trying to fight. You're either gonna find an excuse, you're gonna find a way. And I hope that you guys continue to find the way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
I'm done with bullshit. At this point, I'm merely amused. 22, checking in, it's like a yearly review. I ain't making no commitments unless I'm seeing it through. And that shit ain't always easy to do. Nah, it ain't easy to. Another year alive, pushing my dreams, finding balance while I'm looking at screens. I look out for the team, caretaking.